sports.
And it is the biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland is on for your Friday afternoon. Oh, well, here we go. Friday. No Mace. He's on that Memorial Day weekend vacation. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Let's get it rolling with the biggest show on the radio. Momo's here in for Mace and Johnny I. By the way, I just hung up on a call with Kevin B. from TLC Creative. He's Johnny I's buddy. And this guy complimented me in my work for 30 minutes. I went, wait a minute, are you really friends with John Ireland? He hates me. Anyway, TLC Creative, they're going to be popping some stuff at the Mandy's. Mandy's 3 coming up in about a month. Oh, tickets on sale soon. Keep listening for details. It's going to be fun, Jack. Speaking of fun, how about a Friday afternoon in the Southland? An F-It Friday. Let's get it rolling. Celebrating their 20th year at ESPN Los Angeles. The biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland with Momo. Friday afternoon right now.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, the gang's all here except for Mason. He's sitting in a mud bath someplace in New Mexico. And Momo's here. Momo, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm getting super busy these days.
I bet. Well,
Juggling.
The big premiere of Clipped is coming out on June 4th. For people who aren't following this, Ramona's podcast series, The Sterling Affairs, has been turned in to a TV miniseries called Clipped. And I've seen the trailer. I've seen all the promotional material. I've told Ramona this off the air. I've told you this on the air too. I can't wait. I'm so excited for people to see the way they've casted this, the way your vision has come to life. How are you feeling about it?
I feel really good. I'm getting kind of like nervous though, because it's like real now. And then I also am one of those people like, do you ever, when you're reading a really good book and then you get to the end and you don't want to finish it?
Right.
I'm a little like that. Like, this has been 10 years in the making, and it's, like, finally here. And then I'm like, oh, but, like, I'm already anticipating being done. And then it's, like, sad. Right?
All right. With this, I was thinking, Greg, weigh in on this, too. I was thinking that the next podcast series for you, like the next Sterling Affairs, I don't know, because, they did Winning Time and everything else, but do you think the breakup of the Kobe Shaq Lakers would be a good podcast?
What if I told you?
Yeah, and I'll just say this. I'm like,
it's in the works?
Yes. I got like 3 things in the works.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm like Kobe over here, man. Like, I'm not preparing for my next act, right?
All right, good.
We've been working.
Awesome. By the way, I love John Ireland, the producer. Yesterday with Cameron
I
Brink,
know, I like that.
coming up with ideas for her.
He's
and now
in
with Momo.
Idaho, man. He's
Look
out on the
at
golf
you.
course. He's got a lot to think about.
I'm staring at the lake right now. I've been inspired.
That was honestly, John, the pitch that you made for Cameron Brink yesterday was pretty great.
It was
I made it to Worthy, too. He loves it. But so can I, for people who aren't listening, I have this idea for an ad for New Balance. James Worthy, who I'm buddies with, was the first ever basketball athlete that New Balance signed. So I went into this long, detailed pitch for Cameron Brink when we had her on yesterday because she's a New Balance athlete.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys the 30-second version. Basically, Worthy shows up in a Sprinter van, and all these famous people keep getting in the van, and they're all wearing New Balance. And it turns out where they're all going is to New York to see Coco Gauff and sit in her box as she defends her U.S. Open title. The logistics of it, Momo, are what people have come back to me with. It would be hard to do because you would have to get all those people in the same place at the same time. Mm-hmm. I don't think you could get them all to New York, but you could get them all to L.A.
Yeah.
And 3 different studios in L.A. have a New York set, including Paramount, where I worked for a lot of years. So you could make it appear like they were driving around in New York because Shohei lives there, Cameron lives there, Worthy lives there, and all the other people will show up there. So Kawhi lives there, So I think it can be done. Whether or not it happens, we'll see. But here's my question: do I now have to accept, Momo, with Tyrese Halliburton going down, that the Eastern Conference Finals are over? And I'm going to be forced to root against the Celtics in the finals.
Probably. Haven't you already gotten there? I mean,
I think so too. Well, after the injury last night, though, it hit home, didn't it?
Yeah, and like I don't know that he's coming back. I mean, I
don't either.
The sense I got was he's not even having an MRI till tomorrow. Like he's not.
So Game 3 is a definite no.
Yeah, I mean,
and maybe the whole series.
He's look, as somebody who has suffered a grade 1 tear of my hamstring, it is like. It sounds bad. Like, oh, it's grade 1. You're fine. No, man. Like, that is really bad what he had. at the beginning of, in the middle of the year when he tore his hamstring there. And I think he hasn't really been the same player, and he just sort of started to play great again. And I don't know when that happened last night in the game, if it was a specific play. Did you notice the play?
I didn't, but here's what I did notice, and tell me if you guys agree. When the Lakers blew that 20-point lead in Game 2 to Denver,
same thing.
That was it.
I thought, I can't say it because I work for the Lakers and they'll fire me, but that was their chance. That was their chance to make it a real series. And when they blew the 20-point lead, I thought, man, it's going to be almost impossible now. And sure enough, Game 1, Indiana had that game. They should have won it. They made like 3 or 4 brutal, dumb decisions. And when they blew Game 1, last night it didn't even look like they could compete with the Celtics, did it?
I mean, I felt like when you have a chance to go at the top dog and you get a lead on them and then you blow it, like it was the same thing with the Lakers in Denver. They had them. They're on their home court. If you can steal one in the Boston Garden, you got a chance. But if you give that up, it's almost like a 4-point swing. When you have a chance to go up and then you blow the layup and they get the rebound and go back down and score, it's just taking all the wind out of your sails.
Now, we have a short show today because we're airing the Western Conference Finals tonight, which is in Minnesota, Dallas at Minnesota. I'm now rooting, tell me if you guys agree, I'm now rooting hard for the Wolves because I think they're the best chance to beat the Celtics. I don't think Denver can or Dallas can beat the Celtics.
For me, as soon as Denver lost, when they lost in Game 7, my first thought was, Jesus, now Boston's going to win another title. I don't think either one of neither one of these teams. I think Minnesota has the best chance because they have the size to kind of compete with it, and they have good outside defenders. But outside of that, it's Boston to me, and I hate it.
How is this sneaking up on you? Like they won 64 games.
No, it's not sneaking up. I just thought that Denver was
Ramona,
going to
in
win.
his defense, they blow it in the playoffs every year.
It's true, and they did lose to Denver twice during the regular season, where Denver looked like a better team.
And they're not always that great at home for whatever reason. I don't understand why that is.
Well, the weirdest game I did this year was Lakers at Celtics. That was when, before the game, the Lakers announced that LeBron James and Anthony Davis are both out with injuries. So we figure, all right, 30-point blowout, let's get on the plane and get out of here. And the Lakers won. And so the Celtics have that club in their bag. They could fold. But let's see. It appears like the rest of the league has got their attention and they're playing their best basketball right when they need to be.
I was thinking about the Celtics last night because obviously we were watching them, and they got a big lead on Indiana, and then Siakam kind of brought them back a bit, and they was close for a minute, but I just think the Celtics are a better team. They don't even have Porzingis right now, and they're still winning.
He's going to come back from the finals, though.
Yeah, he'll be back.
But they need him, especially guys. If they play Minnesota, they're going to need him.
Yeah, they do, and I think I think what's interesting is this is why the regular season matters. Like it's just. Like when you watch the Celtics right now where they have a cushion, they have home court, all their players are rested. Their guys, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they were all, picking games here and there to rest towards the end of the regular season. They were playing 32 minutes in a game, not 42. Like this is why it matters. Because you need to be fresh at this time of year. Like injuries happen because you've taxed your body too much.
Look what happened to the Knicks.
Yeah, look what happened to the Knicks. I mean,
that's Thibodeau also just playing his guys,
playing everybody 40,
running them into the ground.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was D'Antoni when he was coaching too. They would always.
Yeah, hey, am I a bad guy if I don't want Minnesota to win the championship because that would legitimize Rudy Gobert?
No, you're a bad guy because you should be rooting against the Celtics.
Rudy Gobert is a really nice person.
I would absolutely root against anybody. The Celtics are never going to be the team I root for.
Boston.
Yes, exactly. But I don't want Rudy Gobert to win a championship.
Well,
wow, you really have a thing, huh?
Well, no, because
I have no idea what Rudy Gobert ever did to you.
It's not about him.
He's a very nice man. I mean, if you met him, you would like him.
He's a lovely person.
Yeah,
I'm sure we would get along great.
You would, actually. I know him.
I would not bet on that.
But it legitimizes him the fact that he has 4 defensive players of the year. He'll have a championship. He'll go into the Hall of Fame, and he doesn't deserve it. I would love Ant to win a championship, though. Does that count? Is that better?
I'm rooting for them to win a championship because I want to see what happens when they give him the Larry O'Brien trophy.
Yeah.
And Glenn Taylor is trying to sell the team.
Oh, I know. He's not trying to sell the team.
Not
he
anymore.
was, and then And then
so he's going to go out there, and A-Rod and that other guy are going to stand over to the side and just stare at him.
It's John. I've covered a couple Timberwolves games. I did 2 of their games last series.
Awkward.
So awkward because A-Rod's he just walked right on by, and Ant goes over and daps him up, sitting courtside.
Yeah, they think they're getting the team. A-Rod and Mark Laurie think they're getting the team. So we'll see. That's all going to
play out in court.
Hey, Ramona, you know what tonight is?
Tonight is Caitlin Clark against the Sparks.
And you know who's going?
Who?
Michael Thompson with Clay, and Michael will join us
I love
next. It. Momo Informace, I'm John Ireland. Before we break, let me tell you about your Southern California Toyota dealers. Boy, do they have a lot of great cars. How about the new Tacoma? Incredible towing capacity and torque. Helps you more than ever before. You need more space? The all-new Grand Highlander. Seats up to 8. Great cargo space. 3-zone auto climate control and more. Or if you're looking for a truck, how about a Tundra? Take on your wildest projects and adventures. Exceptional performance and towing power. All of these vehicles are available at your Southern California Toyota dealer today. See them for a truckload of fun and endless possibilities. Hit the road in confidence, Toyota. We make it easy.
A fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cap.
You killed the bet. No, I did not kill the bet. You just...
We're here each weekday, 1 to 4 p.m. for your afternoon. Sandwiched between Travis and Sliwa and Sedano and Cap. Mason and Ireland continues now.
That sound can only mean one thing. My Lakers broadcast partner, the great Michael Thompson, is on the phone. He is planning a night of Caitlin Clark in person. And he joins us now. Michael, I know you've been waiting to see Caitlin Clark in person for a long time. What are you looking for tonight?
Yeah, I couldn't find any flights from L.A. to Iowa City during the season. So I figured since she's in town, I might as well take advantage of it and head up there. So I'm going to do exactly that. This will be my first WNBA game. They've been in existence for 24 years, and this will be my first WNBA game.
One?
I can't wait to see it.
Oh,
first
man.
one.
I get that, though, because it's during the NBA offseason. So, like, I follow the WNBA, but I don't go to as many games because I'm like, tired from the NBA season, right? Like, this is your time off.
You know, Ramon, I've watched the WNBA since its inception. I do watch the game, but this is the first time a player is going to make me leave my home 60 miles away to go watch a play.
Wow.
So, Michael, give me a grade on Caitlin Clark so far. A lot of people are getting on her because her team's not winning, but the team, frankly, isn't very good. She's putting up some decent numbers. What have you seen so far?
C+, because even they're 0-5, and their team needs to get better, no question about it, especially Aaliyah Boston needs to start playing better and bigger in the inside. But for as far as Caitlin is concerned, it's been just above average. I thought she'd come in and do a little bit better, or shoot better than she has. So far, she's not shot the ball well, up to her standards that she shot at Iowa. So I want to see her start making more consistent outside shots. That's the only thing I can. Obviously, the turnovers have been bad too, but it's a game of an adjustment. Even the great players are coming to have to adjust it on the male side, so and even on the female side too. So, but for all of her expectations and all the hype, she's been a C+ so far.
I think also it's hard to judge her because she walked in and they gave her right out the gates like 2 marquee games, but that meant they were playing the Liberty and the Sun, and
right.
these are
They're
all like
the best defensive
teams out there. And so this will be an interesting matchup tonight against the Sparks, who were also pretty bad last year. This year they've been struggling as well too. They had the number 2 pick, so they were right behind Indiana. So now you get number 1 versus number 2, but you're also playing another lottery team.
And another thing, too, Ramona, her coach, Christy Sides, got to let her play the way Lisa Bluter let her play.
That's right.
Free-flowing. And, sure, Caitlin put up 20, 25 shots or something like around 18 to 20 shots, but she also averaged like 9 or 10 assists. So I think Christy Sides has to let her get back to being Caitlin Clark. Right now she's off the ball too much. She's standing around watching. Yeah, she puts up a lot of shots, but when she gets in that kind of rhythm, she's like Steph, man. She's unstoppable.
That's a really good point, and it's one of the things that when they had me do a story on like how she was going to adjust. So I called Sue Bird, I called Nneka Ogwumike, I called all like former number 1 picks, right? And Sue Bird was like, they just need to let her be her. They need to let Caitlin be Caitlin and play the way that she has been playing, because in the league, you're going to try to force her into okay, we have a traditional point guard and she can be the shooting guard or the small forward, whatever you want to call her. And the magic of Caitlin is the way she plays. It's just like it's just like Steph.
You know what, Ramona?
Yeah.
And these 18, 19,000, 17, probably be 18,000 in Crypto.com arena. They don't want to come see her average and score 15 points.
I don't want to see her standing in the corner. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Don't stand at the
WNBA needs to recognize this and put the ball in her hands and let her be herself.
Yep. And then, that's what happened to Sabrina when she came in the league too. She came in and she needed the ball, and she had a little bit of an adjustment period too, Sabrina Ionescu, when she played for the Liberty. But she happened to play for a team that was a lot better. Like the Liberty took a minute to get good, but she didn't have the same kind of expectation of immediate impact and stardom like Caitlin does. I think it's unfair to expect her to turn that team around right away.
So, Michael, did you watch Pacers-Celtics Game 1?
Yeah, of course I watched it. And Ireland, I thought about you and my philosophy, and you're up 3 but 10 seconds ago. Why do you let them take a 3? And like you said, Ireland, I was listening to you. Why are you guarding below the 3-point line? Stand on the 3-point line and make these guys have to go to the basket to get a layup. I don't understand. How does a guy with Rick Carlisle's experience allow that to happen? I don't get it.
Well, because he's not playing the game.
Well, but Momo,
he's coaching the game.
Michael's right. If you go back and look at the replay, all 5 defenders below the 3-point line.
Yeah, I know, that's true.
And everybody says, well, how does Jaylen Brown get that open? Because they jammed him.
He wasn't open. He hit a ridiculous shot from the corner.
Right. But, Michael, they screwed that up about 6 ways to Sunday.
Oh, I know.
And I still think teams are going to keep doing it, don't you? I think they can't, for whatever reason, they can't get past this mistake.
Ramona, it is so simple to defend that.
I know.
Number one, Siakam tried to fight over a screen that allowed Jason Brown to get some space on him. What you do, Ramona, is switch everything and tell the referees we're going to foul on the catch. It's so simple. I don't understand this.
You know what it is? I think I really think every time I see it happen, I just think people are afraid of the 3 free throws. They want to make people earn it.
But that would have been better, Ramona, than what they did. I mean, at least Jaylen Brown would have had to make 3 free throws.
Yeah.
I
agree.
He made that shot, Ireland, but that was a tough three-corner shot.
I mean, it was
really
in the corner falling away over Siakam. That was a tough shot.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they
I also
didn't
thought they
foul.
had a lot of other stupid turnovers at the end. Like, same thing I thought about Minnesota the other night. Like, there were some turnovers at the end that were just like, that's a young team that you can't turn the ball over there.
Don't get me started on Minnesota. How tall is Karl Towns, Ramona?
I think he's 6'11".
7 feet. And who was guarding him? P.J. Washington, who's 6'6".
Yeah.
Why isn't he in the post posting
Every
up
time.
and killing him in the paint?
Every time.
I don't understand this. How do you have 15 coaches over there don't recognize that?
I don't disagree. Preach on.
It is crazy. So, Michael, you're going to the game with Clay tonight. Do either one of you or Clay, have a sense on whether he'll be on the Warriors when next season starts?
I don't know. We have not even talked about it. I have no sense what's going to happen. We haven't talked about it. As crazy as people may think that seems, because it's a big decision for him and the team. But I don't want to bug him about that kind of stuff. When he's around me, we just want to hang out, play golf, go to watch basketball, talk boxing or something. He's just being father and son. I don't want it to turn into a business relationship when I'm around him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Part of me wants him to stay with the Warriors because I want to see how that movie ends. And the other half, he could help a lot of teams. He could help. And for people who don't know, Clay's a free agent this year, so he can go anywhere he wants. And so you're saying, Michael, that really, he's still taking time on this? It really hasn't started?
Yeah, nothing can happen until July 1st. That's when everything starts. So until then, I'm not even thinking about it, not worrying about it. The only thing I'm thinking about is getting in shape.
Well, do I have to assume, I asked Ramona this earlier, do I have to assume with Tyrese Halliburton going down that the dreaded Celtics have a cakewalk to the finals and we're going to have to put up with Cedric Maxwell a lot next year?
Oh, Ireland, I am dreading this so much, man. I cannot believe the Celtics have a chance to get to 18 before the Lakers can get there. And you're right, now that Halliburton has a bad hamstring, after they blew game 1 and looked totally out of it in game 2, this series is over. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they shock us and come back. But even if it was a healthy Halliburton, I thought it was over.
Yeah, they had a great chance in that game 1, and that was it. All right, so, Michael, when are you driving up? Are you already on your way, or are you waiting?
You're right about that. It's Friday afternoon. The game tip is 7 p.m. I think I'm leaving in about 10 minutes.
I don't blame you.
I
don't
agree.
blame you. All right. I'll be anxious to hear what you think of her in person. Thanks for coming on. Have a good weekend.
All right, guys.
All right. See ya. Momo, you're not going tonight to see Caitlin Clark, are you?
I thought about it. I have to go to Dallas tomorrow. I'm doing that game 3 out in Dallas on Sunday. So I'm going to take the afternoon at home.
There you go. I don't blame you. All right, coming up next, we'll spin the wheel of questions. Ooh. Top of the hour, sports graffiti. Your chance to come on and say whatever you want for 10, 15 seconds. We'll get to both of those features next. Mason in Ireland, Momo in for Mace, ESPN LA.
After Tuesday night's
biggest show on the radio, Mason and Ireland, here each weekday, 1 to 4 p.m. You know what it's time for?
What is this?
It's time for Wheel of Questions. Producer Brian Cohen, are you ready with that wheel? Hit it, Jack.
All right, no Laura today. She had successful knee surgery this morning. She's a little drugged up, but doing good. Okay, this is interesting. Andrew Marchand from The Athletic says that ESPN made a mistake when they fired Jeff Van Gundy. Here's the question. Now that J.J. Redick might get a coaching job, should ESPN bring Jeff Van Gundy back? And if not, who should get that job? Momo, what do you think?
It's interesting. I don't know. I don't even know if I can answer this question. This is very
because you know too much.
No, just these are colleagues, so it's awkward. I thought Jeff Van Gundy was great. I thought he was. I loved listening to him. I think he has that. He made games entertaining. I think he might be happy in Boston where he is right now. He went and worked for the Celtics front office, and I think he's happy there. I think that's a good launching pad for him to get back into coaching or whatever it is. Plus, the whole thing with Van Gundy is it was Van Gundy and Mark Jackson. So then are you going to what are you going to do there? Are you going to bring Mark back too? Are you going to do...
No,
I put Van Gundy there with Doris.
I think you keep Doris and you put Van Gundy. Greg, what do you think? I would welcome Van Gundy back. I thought he was great.
I would welcome Jeff Van Gundy back as well because he is great. However, I would like J.J. Redick to hire both Jeff Van Gundy and Stan Van Gundy to be on his bench.
Interesting. Brian, what do you
wrong
think?
with that?
He's just going to Van Gundy up, huh?
Yeah, I want experienced head coaches on the bench.
Yeah,
I think it's a great call.
I'm not mad at that, but I like Van Gundy when he was doing it. I thought he was very entertaining. So if he brought him back, I'd be all in for it.
Yeah, I would too. And if they're not going to bring Jeff back, a lot of times companies when they fire somebody will never admit they made a mistake,
except with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I'm not the only one. Phil Jackson was fired and they brought him back.
Yeah.
There might be, something I'm hoping happens is that the Lakers blew out all of Darvin Ham's staff, but Frank Vogel's staff is now all available, and those were the guys that won us the title in 2020.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of selfishly hoping some of those guys come back because I like those guys a lot.
Yeah, they were good.
Here, if ESPN refuses to hire Van Gundy back, the person I'd like to see him give that to is Richard Jefferson.
I think that's probably
what
will happen.
Star.
That makes sense.
I just think he doesn't have a filter. He says whatever he thinks. He has a lot of fun. That's the guy I would want. What do you think of that?
I think that's probably what will happen. I think he's probably next in line.
I think he'd be perfect for that. So let's see what happens. And J.J. Redick hasn't left yet. So if he doesn't get a job, maybe he just stays. All right, I wanted to play this for you. I wasn't sure of this, but are you guys aware? I was talking to my niece. My niece is 16. She's a sophomore in high school. And I guess it's kind of a big deal now when you ask a girl to the prom.
Yeah.
You have to come up with a big ask. Did you know that? Like a fancy
Everything's
way of
a big deal.
her?
Everything is like, it's got to be Instagrammable and produced, and I don't know. It's too much pressure.
It doesn't have to be, but if you do it, you can go viral if you go big like that.
And that is the meaning of life, is to go viral.
For example, and I have no idea how this kid did this. All right? I have no idea how he got her to do it, but major kudos to Bryce Harper for going along with it. In Philadelphia, I guess it's a pretty big deal when you ask a girl to the prom. You got to come up with a big gesture. So some guy reached out on social media to Bryce Harper and said, my girlfriend's name is Julia. She's like your biggest fan. And would you help me ask her to the prom? And this kid thought he would get Harper to do it on a Zoom call. And Harper agreed to go with him to her house. And so it's recorded. Hopefully this will play on the radio. It's easier to follow on TV, but this is what it sounded like this week when Bryce Harper helped a kid in Philly ask his girlfriend to the prom.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Hi, Julia.
I'm going to prom.
How's it going? Jake wants to ask you to prom, so I thought I'd help him out. You want to go to prom with him?
I want to.
So are you going to prom with him?
Yes.
Awesome. There you go.
How great is that? The kid got her favorite player to show up at her front door and ask her to the prom. She can't say no, Momo, right?
Yeah.
Once he gets Bryce
Oh,
Harper
at that
to show
point,
up.
I mean, that's even more than a marriage proposal. Right on the Jumbotron. I mean, that's like he literally got Bryce Harper to come to your doorstep.
Yeah, did you watch the video, Ireland?
Yeah.
So the girl goes and hugs Bryce Harper first
that's my
before
favorite part.
saying anything to the guy, and then the
She's no
dad
dummy.
comes out and goes directly to Bryce Harper and shakes his hand. The guy is just there on the sidelines. He's nothing.
But he came up with a huge idea.
Yep, sure
and it
did.
paid off. It got her to say yes. All right, the other thing I wanted to ask you guys about is, did you see whose house Shohei Ohtani bought in La Cañada?
Yeah.
He bought Adam Carolla's house in La Cañada. So if I said to you, you guys can have anybody's house, all right? You can live, just as a story. Like I've told this story before. I live in Steve Sack's old house.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like the one he lived in when the Dodgers won the World Series in 1988. So, Bergman, if I gave you can have anybody's house for the story. You can live in anybody's house, and now you own it. Who are you going with?
I mean, I'm sure Mookie has a really nice house, or I know LeBron's got a really nice house.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they all do.
Yeah.
That's my point. Would
So-
you want to live in Kobe's house,
Oh, yeah.
LeBron's
Oh, well,
house,
Kobe's
Jack
house.
Nicholson's house?
Kobe's house, 100%.
Momo, how about you?
Think about whose house.
Yeah, right? That's a tough question.
You know what I want?
Huh.
I don't even know if he still
Steve
owns
Sachs.
it. I want Pickfair.
Oh, yeah,
where
I've
Jerry
driven by
Buss
there.
lived when he
Yeah.
when he owned the Lakers and had all those parties.
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably want to be out in Malibu. Like, who's got a really awesome spread in Malibu? Actually,
Cher?
yes.
She has a
Johnny
great
Carson
I know
have a
exactly
great
where
set?
Cher's house is. Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good call.
Right on PCH.
Cher's got a
yeah.
great house. What about also the George Clooney house out in Lake Como?
Okay, so I've told this story many times before.
It's all right.
But when I went, we were in Lake Como and we took a boat from Lake Como to Bellagio, and the guys, it's like a tour boat. There's probably like 60 people on it.
Not the same story.
Yep. And they say on the left, that house with the green awning is George Clooney's house, and the whole boat starts to tip to the left.
Oh.
And the guy goes, if you're a man, you may want to move to the right side so we can balance the boat. So apparently, I don't even know if he still has that place. I think it was like right on the water in Lake Como, and who knows if he still even has it. Brian, whose celebrity house do you want?
Comes to mind if it's a real house from like the movie. I don't know if it was actually his house, but Bill Murray's house in the movie Zombieland.
Okay.
If that's his real house, I'll take that one. Let me live in Bill Murray's house. That's pretty nice.
Or is it, what's the movie in Bugsy where Warren Beatty goes in Beverly Hills and just knocks on the door and goes, how much for your house? It's not for sale. How much for it? Just goes ahead and tries to buy it anyway. All right, this is something, Greg, that you found. And since we're all Raider fans, I wanted to bring it up before
this
we get.
drives me
Oh,
insane.
you went nuts on this, yeah.
Okay, no, he's right. Greg's right to be. I mean, it's so Raiders. So here's the story. Aiden O'Connell looks like he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Raiders.
Or have the opportunity to start.
Yeah, he is changing his uniform number from number 4 to number 12 out of respect for Derek Carr. Derek Carr wore number 4 with the Raiders. He was their guy for the last 10 years. He didn't want to insult Derek Carr, so he changed it. But, Greg, as you point out, he could not have picked a worse number to change it to.
Right.
He took number 12, which is Ken Stabler's number.
Oh, my gosh.
Why don't the Raiders just retire that number?
And also, Rich Gannon had that number, too.
One
And-
MVP
yeah,
in that
Rich,
number.
Rich Gannon was great.
Well,
What
maybe that's why he took
respect?
that number.
Yeah,
Does he know? Did he say? Like,
but don't say it's out of...
out of like an homage, like to honor these Raider great quarterbacks, I'm going to choose number 12.
Yes, but he's saying out of respect for Derek Carr, who did nothing, absolutely nothing
Okay.
for the Raiders.
I
Derek
would
Carr
beg to
did not
differ.
do nothing.
He did not do nothing.
He broke his
John
back.
Gruden
He went
wrecked
to he went to like or 2 playoff games.
Well, he
He did
broke his
nothing.
foot the year we had
Yeah.
our best team.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
But-
was a bummer.
It was a bummer, and
See,
it sucked that it happened.
Momo, I'm very, very down on the Raiders. Greg yells at me all the time because I'm critical of them.
No. I'm critical of you because you try to jump ship.
Well, I may still. I'm so mad at them because Momo, I don't think the Raiders can go into a season without a quarterback, and that's what they're planning on doing.
Aiden
and I think it's
O'Connell.
stupid. You
Gardner
are
Minshew.
confident Aiden O'Connell
No.
can compete in a division with
I'm not
Patrick
confident,
Mahomes
but they have a quarterback. They
and
have
Justin Herbert.
They have two of them. Those guys can play quarterback.
One of those two.
I'm not saying they're the best.
One of those two, and probably Minshew, is going to be just fine.
Yeah.
He can make the throws downfield.
go again.
If you have a good offensive line, like they have a good offensive line now, and you have the offensive weapons, you can get the ball down the field. You can put points on the board, and their defense is better this year as well.
They open against the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
35-0.
Chargers.
Is now, Brian, last year when the Raiders played the Chargers at SoFi was the game where Brandon Staley got fired,
Oh, yeah.
right?
I believe so, yeah.
Or was that in Vegas?
I think that was
can't
in
remember.
Vegas, actually.
Was
I
it?
believe that was
All
in
right,
Vegas,
But this time it's in L.A.?
Right.
Yeah, I have no confidence in the Raiders, but I'm probably stuck rooting for them because I don't have another team.
Yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah.
This is what being a Raider fan is.
You are Raiders
it's
through
misery.
and through. And by the way,
you have just signed up for a lifetime of
I
frustration
know.
and misery.
I just Bergman accepts it more than I do.
I accept it.
no, you have to accept it. You're
This
a
is
Raider
what it
fan.
is.
This has been like this forever.
Yeah.
It's true.
But Momo, did you hear what Brian has to do? Was it 10 wins, Brian?
No, it's just more than the Raiders.
Brian says the Chargers will win more games than the Raiders, Momo, and if they don't, he's going to shave his head.
You're
That's
going to
real.
shave those luscious locks?
Oh, well, don't worry about it because it's not going to happen. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
he has the
It is
best hair
going
of
to
anybody
happen.
at the station.
He really
This
does.
could be disastrous.
Fully confident.
Can I shave your head?
If it happens, as a Raider
Yeah,
fan,
maybe
I'll let you do
somebody's
it.
got to do it.
I'm
Oh,
like
and
I'm like the
he's gonna
family
let
barber.
Momo. He's going to let Momo do it. We have to
Well,
do this
remember
on
the time
air.
that
yeah.
Mason was going to let somebody pierce his eyebrow?
Oh, yeah.
Laura.
That was so bad.
Laura
And
did it.
like,
Pierce
made
his
him
eyebrow?
bleed.
Yeah, Laura made him
Ridiculous.
bleed.
All right, so coming up next is sports
Totally
graffiti.
remember that.
Here's how sports graffiti works if you haven't been listening lately. You're going to call the station, and Greg's going to answer the phone. And he's going to ask you for your name, and he's going to put you on hold. Then when we do the actual sports graffiti, Greg will say, John, in Manhattan Beach, you're on sports graffiti, go. And you can say anything you want for 10 to 15 seconds. It can be about something we've talked about, something we haven't talked about, something you want to get off your chest, something you want to interject in the show. No matter what, it flies. Just don't curse, and we're leaving it on the air. Sports graffiti is next. 877-710 ESPN. 877-710-3776. We'll take your phone calls rapid fire next on Sports Graffiti. Momo Informace, Mason and Ireland, ESPN LA.
and the same team. Just get a new coach, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thanks, DJ. Hey, Mike, you're on Sports Graffiti.
Mike from Oxnard. Hey, John, you need your Raider card revoked, brother.
Oh.
As much as I love you, hey, I can't believe you have such little faith in what the Raiders are doing with a new staff and this new regime, and just what they did at the end of last season, coming into a full offseason with AP and the coaches. I guarantee, and I will call back if it does not happen, so y'all can check me on this, but I guarantee the Raiders will have a better record than the Chargers.
There goes your hair, Brian. Brian, there goes your hair.
There it is.
Hey, there goes your hair. And you know what? I mark my words, the Raiders will win and run the AFC West this season.
Wow, he's
Boom.
got him beating the Chiefs, Momo.
Write it down. I like it.
Back-to-back Super Bowls don't scare him.
Why not?
What's he smoking?
3 out of 4 years, no way.
All right, Mike, you're up on ES7 and ESPN.
I just wonder, has Mark Jackson been blackballed as a coach, or how come he hasn't been brought up to pursue the Laker job?
Do me a favor. Google, why hasn't Mark Jackson been hired, and read up on it. And I think you'll get your answer. Okay?
There's always
the
one.
old Google.
There's always one.
Yeah, do your homework. We get one call a week asking why isn't Mark Jackson in the running for the Laker coach, and if it's all out there, just do your homework. Read up on it.
All right. Going to Mitch, 609 area code. Let's see where that's from.
Yeah. Oh, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
How you guys doing? New Jersey.
All right.
Bronny. Someone has to tell him that he'll be drafted, be playing. He should go back to college, especially USC. Everybody left USC once the coach went to SMU. Not to be even drafted is a chance. You want to sit your own way?
Mitch, I don't think this is a terrible idea on your part. I would love to see Bronny go back to college. But, guys, remember, it's up to the individual person. Some people don't want to go to school. They just want to hoop. And if Bronny's one of those guys that just wants to hoop, more power to him. But I do think, Ramona, that another year in college would improve his stock if he went that way.
Generally, I agree with you. However, in this draft, with as old as his father is and where he's already being talked about, if he's even picked, I think he should stay in the draft. If he's picked, that was a good move for him because I don't think he's going to move up in 1 year. Going to Henry, calling from a 562 number. Is that Long Beach?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey.
Doritos.
You're on the air.
Greg
what do you got, Henry?
Greg is right. Carr was trash. We're riding with O'Connell. That comment he made about why he changed his number is kind of stupid, but whatever. John, get on the bus, all right?
All right.
Maybe the nation takes you back.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Hey, Henry, guess what? I just got a direct message from somebody who says, I feel like nobody is talking about how Aiden O'Connell didn't ask for number 4. He was given number 4. Doesn't that speak more about how Josh McDaniels is? It was obviously disrespect to Carr to give O'Connell that number.
Right, but I think Greg's point was, and he's right, if you're going to change your number, go ahead. But don't pick Ken Stabler's number. And he change it to something else.
He went to Purdue. I think he was number 16. I looked up. So why don't you just go? I mean, I know Jacoby Myers is there, but you can go to a different number.
Yeah, I guess that's right. All right, going on to Jeff with the 213 area code. You're on Sports Graffiti.
Hey, Jeff from downtown here. I wish Mason was in today because I know he'd agree with me, but Greg couldn't be more wrong about the lane change merging late. There's traffic in L.A. Everyone's waiting in line except for people like Greg. Like, it's no different than cutting in the line at the supermarket. You guys are jerks, and I hate you guys on the road.
All right, thanks.
Except Mason. The problem with Mason is he won't let anyone in.
Yeah, he's like Allison Janney in that episode of Curb.
Right. So if you don't let anyone in, then you're just going to have massive backup all the time. If you get in front of me, I'll let you in.
See, this is a difference, too. Mace is talking about getting off the freeway. I'm talking about getting on the freeway. When you're getting on the freeway, you go all the way to the end.
Yeah,
if you're getting
Either
off,
way, just
you stay
let
back.
people in. Everything will work out. Don't be straight ahead. I'm not giving you the time of day, Steve Mason.
All right, going out to Chuck in the 562. You're on Sports Graffiti.
This is Chuck in Pomona.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Rams. Rams are gonna do big things this year, and I want to shout out to Mob Squad Booster Club.
Mod Squad Booster Club. Okay, and by the way, we're going to talk about the Rams coming up. Let's wrap up Sports Graffiti. Coming up. The Rams are trying to do something that I think is incredibly stupid, and I hope they reconsider it. And I'll tell you what it is coming up next. Momo Informace. By the way, Bergman's game today. That we're going to do Game of Games in about 30 minutes, so stay tuned for that. Mason in Ireland, ESPN LA.
Don't miss Travis Lee.
Today it's Momo in Ireland. Ramona Shelburne filling in for Mace. Mace will be back on Wednesday. We're all out of here on Monday for the holiday. And then, Momo, it's you and me Tuesday?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so Greg found this story, and I bring this up a couple of times a year every year, but this makes no sense to me. The NFL is going to play 5 international games this year, 3 in London, 1 in Brazil, and 1 in Germany. By 2025, Australia will be added to the league's international schedule.
Whoa.
So according to News 9 in Australia, the NFL and the Melbourne Cricket Club are exploring the possibility of a regular season game in Australia in either 25 or 26. If it comes to fruition, this is according to USA Today, the Rams are believed to be the favorites to host as the home team. Now, the Rams and the Eagles are the only 2 teams with international marketing rights in Australia, but the Rams are the favorites to play because they're closer to Melbourne. Ramona, I don't get this. What, you only get 8 or 9 home games. Why would you throw one away, send your whole team not just on a long flight, halfway around the world in the middle of a season just to try and make more money? You make plenty of money. You get the games on TV in Australia. Why would you take the whole team and make them go to Australia? Do you get this?
No. I mean, listen, you know what this sounds like? A job for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, well, they go to London twice a year.
I know.
But
this is a job for a team that has no... You know what? This sounds like a job for the L.A. Chargers.
Wow, easy.
Sorry.
No, but
sorry.
I mean...
True. It is true. I feel like this is a Jaguars-Chargers show coming up.
If Kevin Demoff, who we love, was on with us right now, or if Les Snead was on us right now, they'd say all the right things. Well, it's important to grow the game. It's important to spread our brand around the world. You know what? You don't have to play a regular season game to do that.
By the way, do you know how far it is? Have you ever taken a flight to
remember,
Australia?
Greg, remember when the Dodgers went there and Kershaw screwed up his back flying home?
Never been the same. And you said it, though, John. There's no such thing as enough money. They have enough money. That's not a thing for the NFL. They want everything, and that's why they're selling games in the playoffs, and then why they're going to eventually sell the Super Bowl.
Like to streaming is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, John. When you go to, most of these guys go, in basketball at least, they go to Asia every single summer. This is like a normal thing to fly over
to make more money.
To China or Taiwan or the Philippines or wherever they're doing. The NBA has been going to Dubai. They've been going to the Middle East. They've been going to Brazil. I think the Warriors have gone to Japan a few times, and they've been okay. Australia is I think New Zealand is actually the farthest place you can fly from us. It's like the farthest flight, if you think about it. Australia is like an hour closer than New Zealand. Do you know how far the flight is, how long it takes to get to Australia?
I would guess minimum of 11 or 12 hours.
Oh, 19 hours, my friend.
What are we doing, people?
19 hours. So, and here's what's so fun. When you have... when you fly home from Australia, you literally go back to the future. You literally, let's say you take off at 10 a.m., you will land back in Los Angeles at 8 a.m.
But, Greg, for the love of Finding Nemo, why go all the way over there? I mean, for a regular season game, if you were going to do this for the first preseason game, I could understand it and then give your team time to come back and acclimate. But if I'm a Rams fan, I don't want my team in the middle of the season flying halfway around the world to play one game.
The only way that I would think they would do it, and they should do it, is what Jacksonville did this last year. They went to London. They were there for 2 weeks. Played 2 games there. Come back, and you have a bye week. That way you have your time to acclimate back and all that stuff. You acclimate to the place, and then acclimate when you get back. If they want to do that, 2 games.
Jacksonville stayed in London for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. Played 2 weeks in a row.
It's not bad.
Well, it's smart because you're going to go all the way over there. Why would you do that? I mean, I remember with the Lakers, I went to China in 2011 or 2012, and we played a game in Beijing and we played a game in Shanghai. And they loved the Lakers over there. Kobe wasn't playing at the time; he was hurt. But Kobe went on the trip, And anytime he walked outside, it was like a rock star. But we did it, Ramona, in the preseason.
Yeah.
So it made perfect sense to me. We're growing the game with some exhibition games that, I mean, we can't expect fans to live and die with every week like we do as NFL fans and then say, but we're going to take our team and send them halfway around the world for one game. It just screws up your chemistry. It screws up your body. I mean, I for the life of me, why isn't someone with a brain saying no to this?
I just think they think these guys are superhuman and can do anything. I mean, I did that with the Dodgers. I went to Taipei, and it was unbelievable. Like, we flew there, landed, and they played a game the next day. Like, there was just, I mean, it's basically the middle of the night. I can't believe it. The Dodgers did that this year with the games in Seoul.
Like, the problem that I have with it is not that it doesn't grow the game, because it's good to grow the game into other countries. I totally understand that. But you're never going to have a team in Australia. You shouldn't have a team in London, even though they want to do that. They shouldn't have teams in these places. So I don't really fully understand the point of it. You see what I'm saying, though?
Every sport is doing it now. And, the NBA is doing it. Regular season games. Baseball. Regular season games. Now, NFL, regular season. Is the only thing I can think of is maybe the reason they won't do exhibitions is because they know in the exhibitions none of the stars are going to play. But if you're just trying to introduce football to a foreign country, you don't need all your stars to play. But this division, the NFC West, could be decided by one game. The Niners, the Rams, and the Seahawks are all really good. And we're going to fly halfway around the world and give up a home game so we can say we're the first team to do a home game in Australia?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I didn't like it when the Dodgers did it. I mean, the NBA is playing regular season games overseas now. I don't get that. I mean, either we're going to protect the competitiveness in these leagues or we're just going to say it's all about money. So why don't we go to a different country every week and just try and grow the game? Why don't we play a game in Antarctica? See if we can get it just doesn't make any sense to me.
That would be amazing. They're all in, like, those big jackets. And
you thought Green Bay was cold.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I definitely wish they would reconsider this. I just think that it's really stupid to send them, halfway around the world. All right, let me get this in here. Did you guys see this story about Scarlett Johansson suing the AI company? Okay, so she's suing a company that created a voice that, she was the voice of that movie, Her.
Yes.
So she's suing an AI company because they use a voice that sounds just like her, but it's not her. Still, the lawyers think she's going to win. They say that, this could be a landmark case, you guys. Because,
I hope she wins.
Because if she wins, that means you can't use anybody's voice, AI, and profit off it. And so she's suing because she says the voice sounds like her. But think about all the people that do impersonations. It's not them, but it's just an impersonation. Mm-hmm. So you can't do that anymore? I mean, how's this going to work?
I mean, I don't know if you saw this. It was maybe a couple weeks ago. There were two voice actors in New York, and they were listening to a podcast about the danger, about how AI was going to take over the voice acting industry.
Right.
And to demonstrate how much the AI was taking over the voice acting industry, the rest of the podcast was done as a conversation with an AI bot. Okay. And as the voice actors are listening to this, they go, wait a minute, that's my voice. They realized they had taken their voices from from all their voiceover work and turned it into an AI bot. And they're suing that company as well. Like, this is what the actor strike was over. This was like a lot of the stuff in the SAG-AFTRA strike towards the end was all about AI and people's voices and people's name, image, and not a name, image, and likeness, but taking somebody's face and putting it in the background. Like, I can tell you now. So from the show that's coming out, right? We had certain scenes where we would have like a press conference scene, John, and we hired actors to stand in the back and pretend like they were reporters in a press conference, right? They didn't have any lines; they're just background actors, but they all got paid, and they all had a day's worth of work. I'm sure they were sitting on set for 8 hours waiting for the time when their scene was up and whatever, and the strike is about protecting things like that, because if you have AI and you have like the Coachella kind of thing where you can put up a hologram, like you don't need those actual actors, or you could find something else they did and just put them back in there. Every show you do, you have actors come back and do what's called ADR work. That's like, they pick up lines or they redo their dialogue. If you have AI, you could just take their voice and do it. And when they come back and they do ADR work, they get paid for that day. But if you have AI, you can just make the
it's going to be it's going to be a landmark case, and it's going to be very interesting to see who wins. But a lot of lawyers are favoring her. They think Scarlett Johansson might win this, and if she does, it'll change the industry forever. All right, coming up next, are the Lakers and the Clippers making a mistake in team building, in the way they construct their roster? A statistic that's pretty stunning would seem to suggest yes. We'll get into that next. First, let me tell you about BBGO. BBGO is the #1 official game day snack of the Lakers. They promise bold, authentic Korean flavor. Whether for a meal or a snack, BBGO is the perfect way to flavor up for your next get-together. It's America's favorite and #1 Asian snack brand. BBGO knows that food brings people together, and there's no better way than to share some premium, delicious Korean flavor. You can find BBGO at your local supermarket. I go to Ralph's, but they've got it everywhere. Target, Walmart, Costco, wherever you shop. Just look in the frozen food aisle. BBGO, the official game day snack of the Lakers.
It's at ESPN. Don't get it twisted, yo. The most downloaded sports radio show in Los Angeles. The podcast, that is.
Mason in Ireland, the #1 most downloaded sports podcast in Los Angeles. The #1 most downloaded sports podcast in Los Angeles. And we thank all of our podcast listeners for that.
If you ever miss a moment, get your fill anytime. Just search Mason in Ireland wherever you get your podcast.
All right, today it's Momo in Ireland. Ramona Shelburne in for Mace as we're winding down the show today. Combo plate. So at 3 o'clock, Sedano and Cap are coming in. Who's working today, Greg, on Sedano
and Cap? Both.
Oh, they're both going to be here. All right, good. Ramona, I saw this story, and I'm glad you're here because I wanted to bounce it off you, and we can find out what those guys think when they come in. But this stunned me. There has been a accepted mindset in the NBA for years that in order to win the title, you have to have at least one and normally 2 or 3 megastars, like elite players. You can take this all the way back to the 80s when the Celtics had Bird, McHale, Parrish, DJ. The Lakers had Magic, Kareem, Worthy. You run it through the 90s with Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman, and the Spurs with Duncan and Ginobili and Parker. And then, every once in a while, somebody would sneak in that had just one star, like that year Dallas one with Dirk or the year Toronto one with Kawhi. But for the most part, star power has driven the titles.
Correct.
So the conference finals are going on right now. Boston, Indiana, Dallas, and Minnesota. This blew my mind. Only 3 of the 20 highest paid NBA players are still alive. 3. So if you look at the largest salaries, it reveals that the top 12 highest paid players have all been eliminated.
Wow.
Guys like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi, all out. As a result, the only players in the top 20 still playing are Rudy Gobert, who's 13th. He makes $41 million.
That's a lot.
Luka, who's 16th. He makes $40.
Yeah.
And Pascal Siakam, who's tied for 20th at $37.9. Now, to be fair, a few of these guys just missed the cut. Kyrie's 22nd. Drew Holiday's 23rd. Karl-Anthony Towns 25th. Porzingis 26th, Jason Tatum 39th, Jaylen Brown 41st. Now, Jaylen Brown signed the biggest contract extension in NBA history last summer, but it doesn't kick in until next season. So that's why he's not on the list. But the question, Ramon, I would ask now is, if you're a GM, would you spread your money around more evenly, or would you do what the Lakers and the Clippers are doing, which is give all your money to 2 or 3 guys and fill in around the edges?
I would spread my money around more evenly because then in this new CBA, and this is what I think is happening, you have a confluence of all those guys that you named. The reason why they're the highest paid stars, because we don't have like a true free open market here. It's not true free agents in the NBA.
It's a capped league.
It's a capped league, and it's also players are incentivized to stay with their current teams. But like, for example, if Victor Wembanyama was a free agent, he could only make a certain amount based off of the raise he would get from his rookie scale, right? If when he's eligible for an extension. So the part where you make a lot of money in your career when you get up to that $50-60 million number, that's like your 3rd or 4th contract. So you're well into your 30s, and it's a little like baseball when they have those contracts. They go 10, 12 years or whatever it is, and by the 12th or 13th year, like, it's a terrible contract, and it makes the most. It's always best to have the contract go up, reach the highest point in the middle, and then go down, so that by the time you're older, it's less. But in the NBA, very few contracts are structured that way. So now you have older players making the most money when they're not at their peak anymore.
Right.
And so that's why I think a lot of those guys are not still playing, because they make so much money. Then they take all that money off the cap space, and you have to just sign mid-level guys, hope some of your rookies develop, and then also, get veteran guys on the vet minimum.
Right, but isn't that what both the Lakers and Clippers are subscribing to right now?
Yeah, they are, because they're stuck. They have older players who are on max contracts who are just going to keep getting paid more and more. And the Clippers are actually trying to reverse. They're trying to stem that because they worked out a deal with Kawhi where it's, he's going to make money, but it's not going to be so much. It's not going to be the maximum he can get, and they're trying.
Are you like me? Do you think that there's going to be a lot of talk, but in the end, Paul George comes back to the Clippers?
That's where I am too. I think I do think he will hit free agency. I think he might take some meetings, just because he should. I mean, that's just good business. He should take those meetings now because that will give him leverage to get the Clippers to pay him more. Like, in a way, Kawhi kind of undercut his own teammate by taking the deal he did. He took a little less, and because Kawhi's the top dog, it sort of put pressure on Paul to take a lesser deal too.
Right, but he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to.
He can always go to free agency and just go play somewhere else.
Yeah. And so I think, there's only 2 or 3 teams that really have cap space to do it, though. And, or not, there's only 2 players that can go to Orlando or Philly, right? I mean, they each have max cap space, but they.
But the one thing this story tells me is if you're a team that is top heavy.
Yeah.
Lakers and Clippers are both top heavy. Phoenix might be the most top heavy team in the league. Isn't the only way to correct this cutting bait with one of your stars?
Theoretically,
you can't evenly distribute the money if 2 guys are making $50 million each.
So what happened in the latest CBA is that the guys who all make, the D'Angelo Russell type money. Okay, what's he make? 18.
Right.
There's almost nobody making anything between you're making $60 million or you're making $5 million, right? You're either making $50 million or you're making $10 million, but there's not much in between $10 and $50 million. There's very few people who are on those rookie scale maxes or even like a D'Angelo Russell type contract, like what he agreed to. Those $16 million, $18 million a year guys. Those are the ones that are so valuable in the new CBA under the new CBA rules, but they're harder and harder to get those kind of contracts.
I think that it's going to be very interesting, like a team like Oklahoma City.
Yep.
They're going to have to – they've got a bunch of young under control contracts, but pretty soon, Momo, they're going to have to pay Shea. They're going to have to pay Chet Holmgren. They're going to have to pay Jalen Williams. And I wonder if that leaves any room for guys like Lou Dort and Josh Giddey, or if they just have to move them.
That's the big question. Now, that's why I think Oklahoma City is really well positioned, because all these guys are the same age, and they have a gazillion draft picks. And so those gazillion draft picks you can turn into a pretty good player. You can trade them, because they obviously can't take all those picks. They wouldn't even have enough roster spots for those picks. So those picks will be better aggregated for another star or even role players. Like that's what I think the lessons of these teams are. Indiana, they did something really innovative this year, and I think it's the main reason why they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. They signed Bruce Brown last year to a pretty giant contract. It was a 2-year, like $20 million a year contract.
And then got out of it pretty quickly.
Right, but it was a really tradable contract. Like, that's why they did it. They signed it, and if he worked out, great, but that was enough money to throw into the deal for Pascal Siakam. And that's how they've got another star, is because they had one of those $20 million a year contracts that teams don't mind taking on. Those are really valuable now.
So what's going to be interesting to watch is how many teams continue to build on the star system. That's what Milwaukee's trying, the Lakers are trying, the Clippers are trying, the Suns are trying, and how many people try and do it with a more evenly balanced financial roster.
Yeah.
Teams like Oklahoma City and Minnesota.
The only way that works is when you nail the draft.
Yep.
Like, Minnesota, they had a number 1 pick. They nailed that pick. But they also got guys like Jaden McDaniels at 28. They also got guys like Nickeil Alexander on a trade for, I don't even remember who they traded for him, but it was almost nothing, right?
Right.
Mike Conley was the guy they got in a trade. Like, these were really good trades, and then they drafted and developed some other good guys. Like, that's how you have to, like, if you were the Lakers, right? When you look at the Lakers team building, why were they able to have such a good team 2 years ago? Because Austin Reeves turned out to be pretty good.
Right, and wasn't making any money.
Yeah, and wasn't making any money. Yeah. So when you nail the draft, now if they're guys like Max Christie or Hood Schifino, if those guys turn out to be pretty good quickly, then they'll fill out that roster. But if those guys take 5 years to develop, it doesn't work.
I'm actually high on Max Christie and hope he gets more minutes this year. I just think he can really play, but we'll find out if I'm right. So far, he hasn't been able to get off the bench. All right, coming up next, Game of Games. It's Bergman's game, and it counts as double today. We only have 5 shows left in the month of May, so this one counts as double. If I win this, I pretty much lock it up. But let's see what he's got for us. It's coming up next, Game of Games. Momo Informace. I'm John Ireland, ESPN LA.
Coming up this afternoon at 3:40 p.m., don't miss the new head coach. I mean, he was the interim head coach, but now he's the new head coach of the LA Kings. Jim Hiller joins Sedano and Cap this afternoon at 3:40 p.m. on LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN.
Hey, guys, it's Cappy here, and let me talk to you about this issue of dealing with your homeowner's insurance. So your home floods, right? You have a big, giant flood at your house, and you realize that the insurance adjuster is trying to pay you so little that you won't be able to repair the damage. That is when you call Avner Gatt. Avner Gatt is a
especially after an accident. So remember, anyone can fight, but calljacob.com is here for you when you need a big win. After an accident, go to calljacob.com or call 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. We got the jingle. Call Jacob. Thank you. Game of Games time. Take it away, Mace.
All right, no Mace today, but Game of Games is here. It is Greg Bergman's game, and we've got 5 players. Brian Cohen, Ramona Shelburne, me, and both George Sedano and Scott Kaplan, nice enough to join us early. Hi, boys.
Hello.
All right.
Friendly,
Greg, what do you got?
hospitable Indianapolis.
Oh, are you? You're already there.
Yeah, I got here this afternoon.
Okay, I want to ask you about that in a second. But, Greg, what do you got for the game first?
I was in Disney IT hell all day today, so I had to use one of Lindsay's games. So thank you very much, Lindsay. No, this one's a good game.
Okay.
Last week was the Preakness, and there also was a big EDM festival around. So this is a game of, is it a EDM artist or a racehorse?
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Oh, I'm good at this because I know EDM artists.
Oh, no.
And Cappy knows horses, so we should be good at this.
Oh, there you
I don't
go.
know either, but I doesn't mean I'm not going to be good at this.
Swag, baby.
Let's go,
Yeah,
Momo.
let's go.
All right, Greg, go
Swag.
for it.
All right, so number 1, 20 Fingers. 20 Fingers, is that an EDM artist or a racehorse, John?
I'm going to go EDM artist.
Okay, Momo.
I'm going to go EDM.
Okay, Brian.
I'm going to go racehorse.
Sedano.
EDM.
And Kaplan.
I'm also going to go EDM.
It is an EDM
Boom.
artist, so you got 4 of you got that one. Brian, only 1 that did not. All right, Yeats. Momo, is Yeats a racehorse or an EDM artist?
I'm going to go racehorse.
Okay, and Brian.
EDM.
Okay, and Sedano.
EDM.
Okay, and Cap.
I'm also going to go EDM.
All right, John.
You should let me go last on some of these.
I'm going horse.
Going horse?
Yeah.
The answer is horse.
Racehorse.
Racehorse.
No! There is a Yeats EDM artist, too.
Well,
Not
today, here, is it?
Not today. There's not on this game.
Wait a second. There's absolutely a Yeats EDM artist.
Let's
Wait
do
a minute.
research.
Does Sedano get subtracted one, Greg?
well,
for
if-
No,
pitching?
because it's facts.
Yeats, according to the game that Lindsay put together, Yeats is a
Oh,
racehorse.
the game Lindsay.
How do you spell it? How do you spell Yeats?
Yeats. If there's another complaint, yes, you will lose a point, but not for this one. All right, but we're going by this. I don't care if it's
Ryan,
not an
you
actual
got that
one.
too, right?
I missed that one.
All
so
right.
was I the only one who got it? Was I the only one that
No,
got
no.
yours?
Momo and
Momo
John
did
got it.
too, right?
Yeah,
All right,
Momo got that.
Ramona 2, John 2.
Boom.
Sedano 1, Kaplan 1. Here we go.
Yep. All right, number 3, Cool Boy. Cool Boy, Brian, is that an EDM artist or racehorse?
Racehorse.
Okay, and Sedano?
Racehorse.
Okay, and Kaplan?
You say cool boy, huh?
Cool Boy.
I'm going to go EDM.
Okay, John?
Could be either. I'm going to go racehorse.
Racehorse. Momo?
That's a horse.
It's a horse. It is a horse.
Damn.
Horse, of course.
The
The
horse.
horse.
All right, number 4, we start with Sedano. Stormcat. Stormcat, EDM or racehorse?
I think Stormcat is a horse.
Okay, Kaplan?
I also think it's a horse.
John?
Sounds like a horse. I'll go horse.
Momo?
Sounds like a horse, so I'll go EDM.
No, and Brian?
I'll go horse.
It is a horse.
Dang!
So Momo, you missed that one. John, do you have the same as me? John 4, Momo 3, Brian 2, Sedano 3, and Kaplan.
Just trying to get a lead there is what
Cappy
I was
2.
trying to do there.
Cappy 2.
Yep, got it.
All right.
Dang.
Number 5.
Just trying to make my move on the outside. See what
Yeah,
I'm
right. Coming around
fucking
there.
racehorse.
You got to go up in the rail, Momo. You got
Yeah.
to kind of sneak into the rail.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Cappy. This one goes to you. Chocolate Puma. Chocolate Puma. EDM artist or racehorse?
This one I happen to know, so I'm going to go with EDM artist.
You do know. John.
I'm with Cap. EDM.
Okay, and Momo?
Sounds like a horse.
Brian?
I'll go EDM.
And Sedano?
EDM.
It is an EDM
Oh,
artist.
no. I've fallen behind by 2 lengths.
This is a bad game for Sedano. He knows these. All right, back to you, John. There's 10 of these, by the
How
way.
do you
Number
know these,
6.
Sedano?
Okay.
You
I
listen to...
listen to BPM on Sirius every day. and so do my kids now.
All right,
Oh
so
my
you're going to
God.
go last every time, Sedano.
Well, okay. I mean, whatever.
Yeats.
Yeats. Yeah, that's fine. Black Caviar, John. Black Caviar, EDM artist or racehorse?
I'll go horse.
Okay, Momo.
That sounds like an EDM artist to me.
Okay. Brian.
Racehorse.
Cappy.
I'm also going to go EDM.
And Sedano.
That is not an EDM artist. That's a horse.
That is a horse.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Damn.
Here we go. All right, so I've John.
Momo was off to an early lead, but now she's been passed up on it.
Falling behind.
I have
by
John with
horse
6.
lengths.
I have
by
John
4
with
furlongs.
6.
Yes, there you
Sedano
go.
5, Momo 4, Brian 4, and Cap 3. Is that what you have?
Yep.
All right.
Exactly right.
Number 7, Zed's Dead. Zed's Dead,
Oh,
Momo.
my gosh. EDM.
Oh, EDM.
Sounds like an EDM
Brian.
artist.
I like Racehorse.
Like a racehorse. Kaplan.
I'm also going to go horse.
Okay. And John?
I'm going to go EDM.
And Sedano.
EDM.
It is an EDM.
No, it's also a horse.
-1.
I don't think you want dead in the title of a horse.
In this.
The name of a horse.
Right, you're right.
All right, number 8, and we're going to go with Brian here. Bizarre Inc. Bizarre Inc. EDM artist or racehorse?
EDM.
EDM. Kaplan.
I'm going to go EDM.
Okay. John?
EDM.
Momo.
Sounds like EDM, but I got to make a move on the inside, and I'm going to say horse.
And Sedano.
EDM.
EDM is the right
Dang!
answer. So I got John 8, Sedano 7, Momo 5, Brian 5, Kaplan 4 with
All right, so
2 to
everybody's
go.
out except me and Sedano,
Yes,
right?
just you and Sedano.
Okay.
Yep, because there's
Yeah.
only 2 left.
Okay.
All right. Zuzudini. Zuzudini John. EDM artist or racehorse?
Zuzudini?
Zuzudini.
Racehorse.
Racehorse. And Sedano.
I am also going to go racehorse.
It is a racehorse, so 1 left. It comes down to this.
All right, so Sedano, I got to go first, right?
Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
Overdose. Overdose. EDM artist or racehorse?
I have absolutely no idea. I will go EDM.
And Sedano. You got to go racehorse, basically.
But it's
Yeah, I got to go racehorse. There's no other way. Right.
And it is a racehorse.
Wow.
So you
That's
go.
a horse overdose.
Look at that.
That's
Look at
weird.
that.
Oh, I
Tie
thought overdose
game.
would be a bad name for a horse.
bad name. Very bad name for a horse.
Seriously.
Shows what I know.
That
All right, you
is
got a
bad name.
tiebreaker?
I do have a tiebreaker. In what year did Billboard start the Dance Electric charts? Just closest, not without going over. John.
There's such things called a dance electric chart.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
And what year did it start?
All right, so I got to write something down.
Yes, you
right?
do. What do you got, John?
I have no idea. I'll say 2011.
2011. And Sedano.
Oh, I would say way earlier than that. I'll say like 1990.
1990. The correct answer, 2013, and that's 2 points for John. He was almost right on top of it.
Yeah,
Look at
George,
that.
I don't remember EDM in the 90s. Do you?
Yeah, there was like dance music in the 90s, electronic music in the 90s, yeah.
Okay, so Sedano, I can't stay for the late crosstalk today, but I want to ask you this before I go. Do you think the series is over now that Halliburton's
Yes.
hurt?
Yes.
Do you think Halliburton's coming back?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know that for sure. That's just like complete
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying is
speculation.
probably not.
Yeah. If I had to get, I mean, it's the same hamstring he's had hurt all year.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Hate that.
So
All
they
right.
had to get game 1. That was the one.
Yep, I agree with you. All right, I'll leave it to you guys to take over after the break. Super Crosstalk coming up next, ESPN LA.
Most people don't think about a lawyer till the cuffs go on, but you're smarter than that. I'm attorney Darren Kavanoki, founder of 1-800-NO-CUFFS. People in Southern Cal know to put 1-800-NO-CUFFS on speed dial now, because no one looks good in handcuffs unless you're into that sort of thing. 1-800-NO-CUFFS.
It's easy to get Memorial Day savings at Cardin Alleyway Hyundai Corona. Lease a new 2024 Hyundai Elantra SEL for only $219 a month plus tax for 36 months on approved credit. Plus America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty, and the Hyundai Assurance Program. Cardin Alleyway Hyundai just off the 91 freeway in the Corona Auto Center or CardinAlleyWayHyundai.com. Lease for $219 plus tax. License and fee to well-qualified buyers. 36-month lease. 10K miles per year. $29.98 due at signing. Not all buyers will qualify. Down payment may be required. Subject to HMF credit approval. Expires 06/03/2024.
Coming up this afternoon at 3:40 p.m., don't miss the new head coach. I mean, he was the interim head coach, but now he's the new head coach of the LA Kings. Jim Hiller joins Sedano and Cap